No, man. So I first off, thanks for having me on the show, bro. I really appreciate it. I look at it from the emotional standpoint of a man and broken, and the biggest thing that a lot of men are saying is, what it's like when you get that look from your wife that you got to go and growing up in a black community. Like I always use myself as an example. My mom and dad had real bad domestic violence, so my mom used to make me fight my dad on her behalf. I never knew what the issues was about. I never knew what was going on, but I always was this kid squaring up with my daddy simply because my mom would tell me to. And as I got older, man, I had to go to my dad and apologize to him. And I was like, bro, you never hit me back. He was like, man, you was my son. I loved you. And that stunned me. Because here I am, like, full of anger and rage trying to fight this man. And my mama was throwing me into this situation. He could have beat the hell out of me. He could have killed me on accident. And when I got to that mindset of stop being controlled by mama, it made me look at life differently. So when I look at all the men, mama, black woman run the society. You got to do what mama say. You can't question big mama. And I just look at Will Smith as he was the boy in that situation and Jada was the mama. And she said, go get him.
Ooh, that's deep. I ain't never thought about that one, man. I think it was something going on with that, but
from what I know about him, man, he got daddy issues himself. His mother, I think he said his father left his mother when he was 12 and he tried to commit suicide. And then I think he said he tried to commit suicide one other time before he was 20s. And then everything he's done, his acting is fake. Like he said, he's never been tough. He's never had confidence. It's all been an act. And I think, we all know, man, life is hard and you got to put on this fake image. And eventually it slips and that mask fall off. And I think that was it. That was the final straw of I'm tired of pretending that I'm this tough macho man that I'm not. And that's why he was crying so hard in that acceptance speech. You know what I mean? Because in reality, bro, if you walk up on somebody and slap them, you're not turning your back. Because you expected them to square up with you or something. Yep. You don't slap somebody and just walk off. That was like pure feminine emotion. I don't know what to do. He just needed to scream or something. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, you think he would have done that to Joe Rogan? Joe Rogan would have kicked his face off. It would have been over. But he knew Chris Rock, that's an easy target. And then why was he laughing at first? That just totally shows the control that Jada has over him. He was laughing. He was doing the right thing. But then this poisonous woman came in and made him do the wrong thing. And you can almost see a alpha female, whatever you want to do.
But as a man, if you live in a scarcity mindset, well, he don't think he have options. He thinks that he really has to deal with it. And no one in his inner circle is letting him know that you can pull up with 3 Jadas tomorrow and live your best life. You know what I'm saying?
Easy.
Keep talking, man. Hopefully.
Right on. Right. So, the crazy part about living in a house with domestic violence is, from the outside world, you live with this abusive monster of a father. But I remember my mama being in his face, like poking like this, calling him names. I remember him leaving to cool down and walk the block and come back and she's still going off. And then he finally loses cool. And then she called the police and he go to jail. So growing up in that environment, I had to go through my rough period. Like I got baby mamas. I wasn't the best person, but I learned what the good was from him and the bad was from him versus my friends who had no father at all. They still searching for themselves. So I agree with you saying, man, any type of male figure, because he went to work 6 days a week. We never had a car in my life. He taught me how to cut the lights on illegally. He taught me how to cut the gas back on, like all of the hood stuff we needed to survive. And I didn't ask him about himself until I was grown. And I asked him, why did you beat my mom? And he told me about, him watching his mother get beat. And when I talked to him and understood him, it gave me empathy. And I feel for Will Smith and all these little boys, man, if you don't know who your dad is, the other half of you walking around this world lost. And that anger is misplaced and you just going to throw it at everybody you can. And that's why we see these rappers, man, they can get all the cars, all the jewelry, all the girls, but then they still delete themselves or do something crazy because they missing their father. Like I seen Lil Durk was just talking about he just reconnected with his father after 26 years and that changed his life. And all of our issues come from not knowing who our fathers are, man. You're totally right.
Yeah, I think that's my mic good. Can y'all hear me good?
Good. Yeah.
My mic may have been too hot. That could have been what it was. But no, I agree with you. And I think we got to keep driving this thing home, because I had my father in my life, it really balanced me out, man. My mom did the best she could, but she was the fun parent to a certain degree. She let us cuss. We were smoking weed and we were having fun. We could do whatever we want to do. Mama buy Jordans and, whatever we wanted, mama go get it. And she had to hustle to go get it. Mama go get it. But my daddy was the one that was more stable, more responsible. And, it really helped me balance it. because when I was young, I had gold teeth in my mouth. You know, people know that follow me. I got Young Savage on my stomach right here. I was trying to, live that life, but I had an example. I can only go so far until I see my father in my mind. Like, wow, my dad will blow up on me. When I wanted to quit school and quit football, and I remember my dad saying, I don't care what you do, you better get your degree. You better get your doggone degree. And that really pushed me. If I didn't have a father, if my daddy didn't love me enough to pursue that, what would I have been? I got cousins that in prison, and I feel bad for them because they daddy wasn't like my daddy. They daddy wasn't on them. He's somewhere else gambling at bingo hall. It makes a difference. And I'm glad I went through the things that I've went through. And I'm sure, Johnny, you feel the same way. I went through the things I went through so I can have more passion about doing what's right. You know what I'm saying? If I already had it good, I'm like, oh, this is routine. I'm passionate about making sure my sons grow up and be good men. And some of these people don't have that vigor. They don't have that zeal for it.
Yeah, no, I feel like fatherhood is the highest honor. Like, you got to be a dad to understand it. But once you got kids, man, the cars, anything material don't matter. It's making sure that your seed becomes a successful human.
Yep. And leaving them in a better position than we were in, leaving them with more than we had. And I had the perfect example of mothers and fathers the other day. I have my son.
Much worse. It won't make it any better.
And to piggyback off that, bro, to say, think about Mike Brown, think about Tamir Rice. All they said was they was kids. They was kids. Well, if squeaky clean Will Smith can lose his cool like that, what could a 6'4" kid in the hood do? I'm scared. I'm shooting him. And everybody saw it on TV. So the jury gonna like, yeah, you're right. The judge gonna say, yeah, you're right. I would have got scared too. Like, we shoot ourselves in the foot every time, and we gonna be complaining because a cop pulled his gun too fast. He was just a kid. He was 6'6". Sorry.
Yeah.